Alright, hello, and in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you could make maps like this. I'm going to be showing you step by step, every step of the way, how everything is done, and honestly, it's a lot simpler than you may think, and if you do so enjoy this, feel free to like and subscribe, as if you do enjoy and want to see more of this stuff, just let me know. So without further ado, I say we get right on into this. So step one is a few things. First of all, I already have this in my little bar right here whenever I want to click on it, just for simplicity, but more often than not, you might not. So what you want to search up is Inkarnate. There we go. So basically, this is the app that we'll be using, and I'm going to be showing you step by step how this is all done. So for example, I already have this map right here, but we're going to be trying to make a better and more beautiful one. So what we'll do, there's many options here, but the one that we want for these battle scenes are going to be this one right here. And for the record, this one right under us is also really good. So if you want to see how to make fantasy entire maps with like islands and stuff, let me know and I'll make a part 2 for this. But we'll just use this one, and we could, how about we give it a name? Okay. Bob's Land. This is Bob's Land, okay? And out of these options, we have low and medium resolution for free. I'll go for medium, and we only have landscape, so how about we just go and create this? Alright, so with this is essentially the default I believe that you are given. And one thing that you want to do is click on this mask tool right here. This essentially allows us to color anything we want, and I will explain this in a second. Essentially, if we go right under to the brush tool, we could click open category. Now, while most of this stuff is under a paywall, we have this nice beautiful row allowing us to color with anything we want. For example, I will click the color grass. Oh, you also have F as a shortcut. There we go. So what we are going to want to do is click on add, and we will simply add this grass. Quite simple. But actually, now that I think about it, I think there's an easier way. What if we just go to brush? I believe that, I don't know if that really matters. Actually, hold on. So basically what we're going to want to do is go to the brush tool and simply just color over this to whatever we'd like. For example, I could leave like a little pocket right here, that's the brown, and the rest of it could turn into whatever this is. But for example, let's just for the sake of it, I'll color it all green because I want to make a nice beautiful lake or something. I don't know. So we'll have this little grass layer right here. And what we're going to want to do is a few things. For example, what we're going to do is click this add button right here for us. Basically, what we're going to do is add everything. For example, you could kind of just have this all colored in. And to any missing spots like this, for example, you may have, you could just simply color it all in. Because it doesn't really matter. As long as it's all colored in, we could work on to the next few things. So, how about we work on some lakes? That's a pretty decent start, I think. So what we'll do is simply go back to this mask layer, except this time we'll click subtract, essentially deleting this. And we could also change the brush size. So let's say I want, I don't know, a big lake that's just kind of like over here, for example. And I could just make this bigger to more easily color this all in. And maybe we could even have a little island right here. Doesn't really matter. So we'll have something looking like this. There we go. And if we want, we could even just undo a few stuff and maybe make a few small islands or something. Doesn't really matter. But let's just have this right here. And like that. There we go. So with the rest of this, I believe, what we could do is actually make a few rivers. For example, we could have this one that kind of like even has a little bit of a loop-de-loop, for example. And we can make this a little thicker or something, I don't know. And then we'll have this, you know what, we got to make this at least somewhat pretty. And then this one could like continue down or something, I don't know. And what we could actually is make this a little bigger. And then this could continue up over here in like a two-way cross or something. So now we have maybe even a little lake right here, and boom, we have ourselves a good base. So what you want to do now is move over to the brush tool, and we will go back to this, or like F simply, and there's a lot of colors. For example, we have a few variations of water, but personally my favorite is this little bluish colored right here. So when we color it, we could just simply go over all this stuff. And in the end, you will see the beautiful masterpiece that will end up with something like this. So we have a few islands right here, and this all begins to slowly come to life. Now, the next step is going to add some beautiful little trees. For example, the first step, at least for me, is given, is our automatically trees. And looking on the size tool, it automatically tells you how big or small they're going to be. So if you want to show that it's maybe not, this is all pretty small, you could do that. Or if we want to show this is a significantly bigger map, we could have something like this pop up. So now let's say we're just coloring this all in. So we could have a nice forest back here, maybe some trees right here. And then let's say, you know what, we'll have one tree right there. Beautiful. And then we could maybe have some more at the back and simply have something to begin to show that's something like this. So we have a few trees that look like this. Okay, all right. Enough with the trees. How about we try to add a few other things? Now, with this, we open our little catalog right here, which also has mostly stuff behind the paywall. But with this, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of the options that were given, but it is beyond better than nothing, let me tell you. So, for example, we could have, let's say, we're trying to make this fairly natural, so we could have some stone ruins, for example, to show that there's some like larger rock formations to look something like this, or even hide them in some trees. But let's say we even want to add a little more. So we could go back here, and we could even get a house, or actually no. I say we stick with a little ruined design, and we could have some ruined houses. So we could have, actually it's a little too small. I want to make this realistic somewhat, so we'll make this like this big. So we could also rotate this as we would like, if I could find the... here we go. So let's say we want to really... Okay, this doesn't really fit in much places, so we'll have this one, and we'll even have this. So we have 3 ruined places, potentially. Some ruined civilization may have been here or something. But that doesn't really matter, as these 3 ruins are kind of stuck here now. And the only critique that I have is, at least personally with what I do, if I'm trying to like make this similar, but let's say I want to add like a city or something. The problem is I don't really have that option. I only have the house construction thing, because if we even search up things, which is very nice, so let's say a house, and we search it up, we have this beautiful option right here, but going back here, all the other stuff is behind a paywall, which is kind of sad. I was hoping they would have at least even just one type of house that wasn't like this. So a little annoying there, but besides that, this is honestly a great tool just for fun, or even if you're trying to make maps for like battles or stuff like that. So with that, this is quite simple, and obviously I can't really show the paid stuff because I'm too poor for that. But with that, this was a simple little tutorial, and hopefully if you guys did enjoy and you want to see a part 2 to this for the bigger maps, like you want to see maybe, or make your own fantasy map, feel free to tell me down in the comments, and I will gladly do that. So, without further ado, yeah.